Welcome to our InstalSmart desktop application tutorial. In this tutorial, we will show you how to create a floor heating project in just 15 minutes without requiring any specialized knowledge. InstalSmart is a computer application designed for quick and efficient floor heating installation design. Before we dive into the tutorial, let's take a closer look at the key features of the InstalSmart application. Simplified interface. The application has a simple user interface that is easy to learn and allows even inexperienced users to quickly start working. Ideal for estimation. With its functionality, InstalSmart is perfect for simplified designs and quick preparation of bill of materials, being base for project cost estimation. That makes it a helpful tool for installers and salespeople. Project completion in 5 steps. 1. Load and scale the underlay. 2. Insert rooms. 3. Specify room areas. 4. Insert the manifold. 5. Calculate the project. Integration with InstalSystem 5. Projects created in InstalSmart can be edited and refined conveniently using the full version of InstalSystem 5, providing excellent support for the process where an installer or salesperson creates a preliminary design, and the internal design office offers support by finalizing these projects. Point Room. The Point Room function combines the advantages of working with a graphic underlay with ease of use. Users only need to specify the room's area, which significantly speeds up the design process. Advanced Calculation Engine. InstalSmart uses the same calculation engine and data from catalogs as the leading MEP and HVAC design application, InstalSystem 5, ensuring high quality and reliability of calculations. Light and efficient. InstalSmart takes up little disk space and supports 64-bit architecture, ensuring smooth and fast performance. You can download the program from our website in the Downloads section. After installing the application, the Program Manager window appears. In this window, on the left side, there are 6 buttons. In the Activation/Deactivation tab, you can activate the program using a multi-activation license number. In the Update tab, you can update the program to the latest version. Installing the update is mandatory because without it, you won't be able to launch the program where you'll create your floor heating project. After successfully activating and updating the program, you can use this button to start a new project. After launching the program, the InstalSmart editor appears. Here you can input your underlay, add rooms and installations, and calculate the project to obtain the results and a material list. However, before we do that, let's go over a few words about the interface. We have streamlined the application to just 5 windows: General Data, 2D Editor, Results, Data Table, and Diagnostics. This screen layout is fixed, and users cannot accidentally alter it. The toolbar has also been simplified to include only essential functions, so you don't have to search for features in different parts of the application. There is a single calculation button that changes color depending on the status: green for tips or no messages, yellow for warnings, and red for errors. The Edit section contains only essential functions, similar to the View section. Note that there is only one toolbar in the application, and it is consistent across all scopes: underlay, construction, and installation. If a function is grayed out, it means it cannot be used in the current scope. Let's move on to the next section. At the bottom, we can switch between active sheets, with the number of sheets closely tied to the number of stories. Currently, there are 3 default stories. In the General Data section of this tutorial, I'll show you how to change the number of stories in your project. On the right side, on the blue toolbar, we have basic modes such as Auto and Auto, which are familiar from other CAD programs. You can enable or disable these modes at any time by clicking on them. Although it's not visible right now, standard zooming in and out of the project is done using the mouse scroll wheel. Selecting elements is done with the left mouse button, while the right mouse button ends the current operation. When an element is selected in the project, its data is displayed on the right side in the data table. In the basic scope, I believe the interface is clear for you. Of course, we will see more functions as we work on the project, but for now, this is all you need to get started. Are you ready? Then let's start our floor heating project. First, import the floor plan using this icon. It can be in DWG, DXF, PDF, also vector, or image formats like JPG or bitmap. Place the underlay onto the appropriate floor level. In the second step, you need to scale the underlay. Use this function to specify a known dimension and enter the actual measurement. The first step is complete. Users familiar with our programs may find more advanced features related to the underlay. After selecting the underlay, you can find these options in the data table window. To insert a room, we need to switch to the next scope, which is construction. We will use the point room function. In practice, the user simply inserts a label, which is placed along with the floor heating system. Labels are positioned approximately at the geometric center of the room. If you need to adjust its position, you can always grab and move it. To speed up the process, use the repeat mode. Finish inserting rooms by right-clicking. Finally, turn off the repeat mode. Next, by clicking on a room label, enter the room's area, and that's it. This is how we complete the entire project. In the data table, you can optionally fill in other detailed values such as symbol or room type. At this stage, I will add the room type but leave the symbols blank, as I will show you a faster method later in the diagnostics section. In the project, I have 2 bathrooms. It is important to set their type because the temperature for the bathrooms is 24 degrees Celsius. If I don't have a given type like hallway, I can manually enter the type in this field. I can omit areas like the boiler room or the utility room next to the kitchen in my project. Inserting the manifold is a step performed after switching to the installation scope, leaving the construction scope. You can insert the manifold using this function. In heating installations, the manifold is used to evenly distribute the heating medium to the receivers and balance the circuit loops of the system. You can insert one or multiple manifolds into the project. The manifold is placed on the drawing along with the manifold cabinet and accessories. To change the manifold's location, hold down the left mouse button and drag it across the underlay. To adjust its orientation and rotation, hold down the left mouse button and modify the manifold's position or rotation. The manifold is initially placed with a default number of outlets. However, the program will determine the required number of outlets based on the calculations. The program automatically selects the accessories included in the manifold set, determines the appropriate cabinet size, and appropriately selects actuators mounted on the manifold valves. Additionally, users have the option to manually choose from a list of available cabinets and accessories suited for the selected type of manifold. In the installation scope, we also have the option to view the heating zone element. By clicking on the rounded icon that was automatically inserted with the point room, you can preview the characteristic settings related to this element. The heating zone in the program represents an area covered by one or multiple pipe loops with established construction and operational parameters. In the InstalSmart application, it is used for designing radiant heating systems, such as floor heating, and facilitates the division into resulting elements known as heating surface components. In the data table for this element, you can primarily set the zone type. Standard symbolizes one or more heating surface components, each of which is covered by a single pipe loop. Heated by pipe feeds symbolizes one heating surface component, which has no pipe loop assigned to it. Energy is supplied only by feed pipes that run across to other heating surface components. In my project, only the hallway will have the setting for heated by pipe feeds. Let's change this field for that zone and leave the default setting as standard for the others. A significant portion of the parameters is automatically filled in using the data propagation mechanism from the general data section. We will also discuss the general data in a separate section of this tutorial. A fundamental step is also completing the floor covering information for each room. We can do this in the data table. To speed up the process, we can use the Control key to select all the zones where, for example, parquet is used and change the covering simultaneously. For the remaining rooms, let's set ceramic tiles of the same thickness. Let's move on to the final step, which is performing the calculations. You can initiate this function using this icon. The program uses the same calculations based on, among other standards, N1264, with updates incorporating laminar flow, just like the Install System 5 application. After performing the calculations, you can view the results in the hints of the elements. For each element, you can read technical parameters such as the selected spacing and the total length of the loop, as well as calculation results like mass flow and flow velocity. In single-family homes, the pipe spacing for underfloor heating is typically set between 10 cm and 20 cm. A spacing of 10 to 15 cm is used in rooms that require higher temperatures, such as bathrooms. In warmer regions, these values might be larger, whereas in colder regions, smaller spacings can be used to ensure more effective heating. To change the spacing from the standard range, you can go to the General Data section and deselect spacing options like 30 or 25 cm for the project. Additionally, to exclude the 20 and 17.5 cm spacing in the bathroom, you should uncheck these options in this section. After making these changes, the project should be recalculated to update the adjustments and, for example, lower the system's operating temperature. You can also see that for one of the zones, the program has divided it into more than one pipe loop. This division is done automatically by the program to ensure the system's operational parameters are met. The project is complete. We can now move on to the results. And all this in under 15 minutes. At the beginning, we have the front page, which we can complete with information from the general data, which we will cover shortly. Next, we have the radiant heating general results. Detailed radiant heating results. List of rooms for heating. And of course, the list of radiant heating components. And the list of automatic control system components for radiant systems. The user can print or export the results in virtually any format using this list. Such a project can be modified, and we can make changes to it. Changes can be made at the level of the data table for individual elements or globally for the entire project in the general data section, which we will discuss in the next part. After making a change, if we want it to be reflected in the calculation results and the material summary, we need to recalculate the project. Let's move on to the General Data window. This is where all the default settings for our project are propagated from and have been used throughout the project so far. InstalSmart retains all default settings from the main InstalSystem 5 template, while hiding more complex options. Since the application uses the default settings template from InstalSystem 5, projects created in InstalSmart can be directly recalculated in the full version of the application. The same applies to the available catalogs. Info on file. This section contains the entire history of the file, including when it was saved and edited. Climatic data. A catalog of climatic data where you select the country and locality so that the program can apply the appropriate design outdoor temperature used to calculate the specific heat loss index. Stories management. This is where you create and delete stories. InstalSmart comes with 3 stories by default. You can modify specific data for each story, such as the story elevation or height, in the data table. Required heating output. Here, you can set whether the required heating power should be calculated based on a heat loss index. The program will multiply the room area by the selected value to determine the required heating output for the subsequent system design. You can also set the value to user specified, which will automatically require you to enter the appropriate value in the required heating output field for all rooms. Note that each room can individually choose between these 2 methods in the data table, either the value calculated based on the coefficient or the user-specified value. Sources. Here, you have 2 options. Optimize supply temperature or impose supply temperature without unnecessary complications. Floor system. On the left side, you can set structural parameters, and on the right side, operating parameters. This section may appear to have the most settings, but it is a streamlined interface, excluding features like connection settings, which cannot be drawn in InstalSmart. These parameters are propagated to the heating zone element. Just like with rooms, each heating zone can have its data entered individually. Simply uncheck the standard General Data checkbox in the data table for a specific zone. The final window is manifolds. These data are also used in our project. Any changes made in the General Data window will affect the fields in the data table for individual elements where a computer icon appears next to the values. As you can see, it's kept to the absolute minimum. For those who need more advanced features, they can be set in the full InstalSystem 5 application. Just save the project and continue working on it in the full application. When working with accurate underlays, you have the option to outline rooms according to the underlay. This eliminates the need to manually enter room areas, as the area is automatically extracted from the drawing. When creating a project based on room contours, you should then insert the floor auto element into the rooms in the installation section. InstalSmart also allows for converting point rooms to rooms. Simply use the room function to draw the room within the point room. In this scenario, the program will convert your point rooms into rooms, automatically inserting the heating zone. The same operation can be performed by opening the project in InstalSystem 5. In InstalSmart, both point rooms and rooms drawn by contouring can coexist in the same project. For such a heating zone, similar options to those in InstalSystem 5 become available. Users can right-click to divide the heating zone from the options displayed on the screen. Alternatively, they can manually cut the appropriate shape, with or without automatic expansion joints. Using the scissors icon, you can also decide whether, in the case of a division, the heating zone should be split horizontally or vertically. The program includes its own diagnostics. Messages are limited to the essential minimum for the InstalSmart application. Eliminating errors is crucial because they block us from performing calculations and generating results. Warnings and hints can sometimes be ignored, depending on the project's requirements, as a project with such messages might be fully acceptable. For typical messages, a link to a free help system is visible on the right side, which refers to the specific message. Double-clicking a message highlights the relevant element associated with it. Remember how I mentioned this at the beginning? If you haven't filled in the symbols for rooms, you can click here, and the program will automatically fill in the symbols for all rooms. For those who prefer order, labels can be organized. In addition to the standard moving of labels within their dedicated ranges, there is also an option for alignment. To do this, simply select several labels using the Control key and choose the Align function. Thank you for watching this tutorial. This tutorial includes timestamps in its description, so you can easily return to the section that interests you. As you can see, with the simple InstalSmart application, you can start creating professional radiant heating system designs today based on advanced calculations without the specialized knowledge required for professional projects. If you have any questions or concerns, we invite you to visit our technical support area where we offer the free help system. You can also find instructional videos like this one, as well as others available on our YouTube platform and website. Be sure to check out our comprehensive training program or contact our support team. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please leave a motivating like on the video. Thank you, and see you soon.